Hi, everyone, and welcome to week three. This week is going to be all about rhetorical analysis. We'll get to that in just a minute. Before we do, I want to talk a little bit about week two. The discussion forums have been fantastic. Thank you so much for your hard work. It's definitely appreciated. I might pop into the forum this week and offer my own thoughts. The conversation has been so good so far that I can't help but join in. The assignments this week, if you haven't turned them in, if there's been some sort of problem in your personal life or other extenuating circumstances, please let me know as soon as possible. I want to make sure that these things don't drag on. We can talk about the possibility of late work. It'll be a case by case basis. But again, please don't be afraid to reach out. All these problems can be solved through communication. Speaking of communication, again, this week is all about rhetoric. And we've talked a little bit about rhetoric so far. Last week we discussed ethos, pathos, and logos, which again are the three sides of the rhetorical triangle, the three main rhetorical appeals. As I said in the last video, these appeals always work together. A certain article or a certain text never uses one or the other or the other. They're always there at the same time, working together in tandem. This week, you'll be doing a more thorough rhetorical analysis of an article, actually, articles too in this case. And when we do rhetorical analysis, the big question we need to answer is who is the audience? How is that audience being appealed to? And why is the audience being appealed to in that way? Some other questions we can ask then to help us out are, well, where is the thing being published? Who is funding it? What are their political or social goals, and what are they trying to encourage their audience to do? An advertisement, for example, always has this same rhetorical goal, to get customers to buy products, or at the very least, to think positively about their company or negatively towards a competitor. An article is going to want the audience, likewise, to do certain things, to take political action, to vote, to consider something in a new way, to have different conversations, for example. An article in the New York Times is going to appeal to a different audience than an article or a television program on Fox News, for example. And the questions about audience need to lead to specific answers. If we say the audience is people who read the newspaper, for example, well, that's not quite specific enough. What kind of people tend to read the New York Times, or what kind of people tend to watch Fox News? If we answer these questions, we can then go further and say, well, how does the Times appeal to its audience? How do other news outlets appeal to their audiences? Again, who is funding them? What are their political goals? There are always questions we can ask. Likewise, there are going to be certain rhetorical appeals that work better in certain situations. Pathos, appeals to emotion, are often persuasive, but they're more persuasive in certain cases. An appeal to pathos is going to be less persuasive in an article about, say, mathematics or space than it will be about welfare or orphans, for example. As you do your rhetorical analysis this week, you'll want to pay very close attention to who these audiences are and how the respective texts are appealing to those audiences. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Keep up the good work. The conversations, again, in the discussion forums have been fantastic. Keep working hard, and I hope you have a good week three. Thanks so much.